Hello everyone, welcome to Stampin' Up with Jamie. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, either live or if you're catching this on replay. Thank you for checking out my video and my live card stamping tonight. I'm just getting comments on my computer so I can follow along. I kind of misjudged my time a little bit tonight, so I was kind of scrambling about 2 minutes ago. Time got away from me. So I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. I just realized I forgot to grab something. I'm doing things a little different tonight. So normally I do sort of like these, well, for me they're elaborate, but the cards that have lots of pizzazz to them, or like last week I did kind of a trio of cards, and tonight I'm kind of switching things up a little bit, and I've decided to use, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I'm going to use the Stitched Triangles dies, and I'm making 4 cards, and they're kind of all simple. Okay, so instead of like doing a step up card or doing like one like kind of decked out card, I'm doing 4 sort of simple cards, and they're a little bit more on the like artistic, a little bit more on the, what's the word I'm looking for? Abstract maybe? I don't know. Geometric for sure. Side of things than I normally do. So thanks for hanging in there with me today. You'll have to let me know if you like the cards or not. And I won't be offended if you don't, because like I said, they're a little different than normally what I do. So we're going to try it. We're going to see how it goes. Hi, Barb. Hi, Karen, Linda, Michelle, and Karen. 2 Karens. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me tonight live. I appreciate it. If you're watching, be sure to leave a comment. As soon as I'm done here, I'll draw one of your names and you can pick which card you like. Abstract. Yes, Karen. These are definitely abstract. I normally don't go this route. But here's the thing, okay? So, oh, sugars, I forgot to get the paper. Well, I'll get it. Hold on. Actually, I can show you in the catalog. Give me a second here. So I'm using, like I said, the Stitched Triangles dies, which I have to say didn't make my initial order. But I really was liking what people were doing with it. I thought it was kind of clever and different and abstract. So that's what we went with. Okay, so, and I was really inspired, I'm going to show you in the catalog, by the Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper. Okay, this was really kind of where I took my inspiration from. Because they have these really cool kind of patterns and shadowing in a bunch of these patterns. So the front patterns are more patterns. How many times can I say patterns? But the reverse side of them have like this beautiful shadowing on different gradients of color. And I just think it's so, so pretty. So I was inspired by that. And then I'm using these beautiful triangle dies, and I was very inspired by this as well. And I don't know, I'm no mathematician. You guys could tell me the angles of all this and all the mathematical terms. My oldest is taking geometry this year, so she could probably tell me a bunch of, facts about these triangles. But all I know is when I see this is that there's 3 kind of triangles, and they have like 3 different angles, so to speak. So, and then smaller and larger versions of all the 3 of them. So again, kind of a different route tonight. So we're just going to have to take a deep breath and we'll be all fine. I'm speaking to myself because this is so not how I stamp. But so let me show you, this is my, well, hold on, let me start you this way. So I started with this card and I'm keeping it really simple, like stamping. So, we're going to use the triangles, a simple stamp. Then I want this route. I wanted to try this guy because once you put him like a dimensional behind him, it creates this kind of cool shadow effect underneath. Simple stamp there. Hi, Roz. Good evening. Hi, Penny. They're interesting. Exactly, Michelle. Oh, that's upside down. They're interesting. Yes. We'll have to decide how we feel about them when we're all done. It was a stretch even for me. I'm like, okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's going to be fine. This one uses one of those Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper, and that kind of shows the gradient of color in that. Pointy, square, and regular. Oh, Amy, that's hysterical. You sound like me when it comes to talking about geometrical shapes. Hi, Heather, don't worry. And then this one is just kind of very simple as well. So here's what I did. If you have the triangles dies, these three I kind of created myself. But this one, I wanted to do one more, and I thought, what's something I could do? So I literally just went online, and I Googled triangle art, or I think that's what I Googled. I don't even remember. I think it was triangle art. And I saw this one, or a version of it. And I thought, oh, I could totally replicate that with paper. And so that's what I did. So they're definitely more artistic side. They're definitely not what I normally do, but it was kind of fun. And the way you can create different angles. Oh, I'll show you this one. I made this a long, long time ago, and I've never used it because I don't know how to use it. Okay. But you can even do something like that. Like just do white on white and have them kind of interlock. This was really complicated. Like my brain struggled with this one. And now I have it and I don't know what to do with it. It's been sitting here for weeks and weeks. But so really like fun things you can do with the triangles and stretch yourself and try new things and maybe go a little bit more abstract than maybe you normally do. So they're really simple cards. We're going to work through them tonight. It won't take us long. But anyways, so here, all my white card bases are Thick Whisper White. Did I use it last week? I think I did too. But anytime I'm using Whisper White as a card base, I'm always going to use the Thick Whisper White. It just is thicker and so it holds up better. Put a sentiment on top and call it a day. I just don't know what to do with it. I like created it and now I'm stuck with it and I don't know what to do with it. So Thick Whisper White, this is our 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. And I use one of the patterns. So all my triangle cuts, if it's a designer series paper that you see, it's all cut from the same sheet of paper. Oh, it fell. I'm like, where'd it go? So if you're wondering where all my die cuts came from that are on designer series paper, this is the pattern. The one that kind of goes from purples to blue. Okay. So I put it at the top. So I have a little bit of like pink at the top and a little bit of more blue, dark purple at the bottom. What did you say? I have a love-hate relationship with this set. I really like it, but don't really know if I would use it enough. For those who are celebrating Christmas, we are Jewish, so don't even, though I make cards, it makes great Christmas trees. Yes, I do have the Christmas tree stamp set, although I haven't used it yet. Gosh, I got to do that. But could you make like Star of David's? Like that? Well, you know what I mean. Roz, you'll have to let me know if that was something that you could do, if that would work. So I'm using, which one did I use for this? Let's figure it out. Okay, so I use the third largest or the third smallest. It's the size right in the middle of this long triangle. I don't know how to call them. They're different names, whatever that triangle is. And all of them I'm going to adhere down using dimensionals. If I'm keeping a card pretty simple, and I did this last week too, so you know, this isn't something that new you're hearing me say, but if I'm keeping my design pretty simple, I'm usually using dimensionals because they add a little bit of something that's different and an extra element without really having to do an extra element. So, I'm going to put one triangle this way. And then I have a larger triangle and a smaller one. This is Rich Raspberry. This is our Misty Moonlight. So this is kind of the color palette I'm working with. If you see a darker blue, it's the Night of Navy, a lighter blue. Although I did use some other blues too. This is kind of misleading. I did have Seaside Spray. Oh well. For more or less, these are the colors I used. Okay, so this one, dimensionals as well, but I'm going to have it the other side. Acute, obtuse is all I remember from geometry, which I failed and had to go to summer school. Those names, like, it sounds familiar, Karen. Like, at some point in my life, I learned those, but I couldn't tell you what's what for anything. Let me tell you. My husband is very brilliant, and so my daughter, who's in geometry, I said, we're homeschooling this year. So I said, honey, if you need help, I mean, I can check your answers based off the answer key, but if it's wrong, I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to wait for Daddy to come home. You could make Star of David's. Okay. I love the geometric things people are doing. I just don't know if I'd make them myself. Yeah, no, I get it, Roz. I get it. It's definitely different. It's definitely, I don't know. I just thought it was really fun. I too saw what other people were doing, and I thought, oh, I'm so trying that. And there's an example in the, let's see if I can find it quickly, in the annual catalog of a scrapbook page that I love. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to find it now. Well, it's on one of the pages. If someone finds it, they can put it. But I thought, oh, that'll be really fun to use for scrapbooking. So, every now and then, it's fun to try something new and just see how it goes. Okay, so Rich Razzleberry, Misty Moonlight, and this is one of the Artistry Blooms DSP patterns. So the sentiment I'm using, I wanted a simple, like, cover all sentiments, cover all the bases. I could send to just about anyone. I'm using the Hey There, because why not, from the Beautiful Autumn stamp set. I really also wanted a shorter sentiment because I wanted to be able to kind of fit it along these triangles. So that was kind of another reason why I went that way. And it's photopolymer, so I could really make sure I was stamping straight and exactly where I wanted it to go. So Rich Razzleberry ink, there's our first card, done. You love geometry and algebra, but that was about 55 years ago. I just don't remember these things. I don't know about you, but I forget who I was telling, they're like, how do you not remember this stuff? And I was like, listen, my brain like hit capacity years ago, and it just started like weeding things out that I don't need on a daily basis. And so unfortunately, like geometry and like biology, it didn't stick around in my brain. There's too much other stuff that needed to make room for instead, other priorities. Okay, so this time our card base is Rich Razzleberry cardstock. I love Rich Razzleberry. It's not like I don't know how to describe that purple. It's like almost like a magenta, but a deep magenta. It's kind of like a pinky purple. I like it. So I'm doing a little matting of Whisper White on Whisper White because I want to. Oh, scrapbook page is on 35. Thanks, Karen. I knew someone would have my back. Let's see here. 35. I should have flagged it, honestly. Oh, yes. Okay, so here's that's that scrapbook page. Isn't that fun? I want to try that. I just think that's a really cool layout. And this card, too, I'm like, that's just different. It's different. It's cool. I don't know. Trying new things is fun. So, Whisper White on Whisper White. My larger one is 4 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then the smaller one is 3 3/4 by 5. By 5? By 5. I'm going to double check. And I'm just adhering one to the other. Again, this is just it's another way of adding another element to a card without much effort, matting. Here I'm matting white on white just because I love white on white. I think it just is kind of classy looking. But even just like to have a card that's almost entirely white with like this. When you die cut white on white, like I just think that looks really fun. I like that a lot. So then I used, I don't know what it's called, the other triangle, not the long triangle, the more 45-degree angle. I don't know. Okay, so I'm using the third one, okay, primarily the third smallest or fourth largest. Let's see how bad I can confuse everyone. It measures, let's see here, it's like 1.5 tall. So what I did is I took my piece of designer series paper. So it's gradient, right? So I wanted to be able to show the gradient. So well, this side's a little bit more pinky. The other side was a little more purpley. So I did one triangle that way, and then I did one that way. Whoops. And then I did one that way on the other side, so that you can see the gradient. Okay. That's equilateral for sure. That's the regular, exactly, Amy. It's the normal triangle. Yes. See, you and I, we think alike. Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to say what I almost called it, but because then you'll make fun of me. But yes, it's the normal triangle. So here's what I did, right? So I started at the top and then the next one and the next one. So I could really show the gradient between these normal triangles. That's what we're going to call them. Or as Karen calls them, and is it no, it's not. It's equilateral. It's not equilateral. Oh boy, my husband would make fun of me for saying that one. Let's go ahead and put this on my rich raspberry. I think it's going to be easier to do it before I have it layered with all the triangles on it. So my card base is that 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Oops. Like so. Okay, now what I normally do is kind of position them. And let me tell you, this was a lot of playing around. This was definitely one that I played with and then I moved around. And you can see, like, depending on where you're cutting out that Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper, you're going to get different. It may be a little darker, it may be a little lighter sort of thing, you know. So this is Misty Moonlight. And let's see here what else I have. This is Rich Raspberry. Such a fun word to say. And then this is Balmy Blue. Yes, it is Balmy Blue. I had to look for a second. Okay, so I just want to get like the spacing right. And then, I don't know, I wanted like a little hint of gold, so I cut this cute little one. Isn't he adorable? Normal sounds right, 3 equal sides. And I just kind of have him tucked in here. Honestly, I didn't want to overdo it. I thought about putting another gold one up here, but I kind of just like the pop of one gold. So now that I have the spacing kind of figured out, I'm going to adhere all the big normal triangles. Gosh, if a mathematician was watching, they'd kill me. They'd have my head. With dimensionals. So I'm using a combination of mini dimensionals and I don't know, just whatever I'm grabbing, I'm throwing on. I think you are triangling to get me to order this. Karen, that was bad. That was bad. I am triangling. I am, for sure. It's just different. You have to have fun with it. It's definitely like, you can't take it too serious. You know what I mean? And I honestly think with the triangles, well, I don't know. I've seen other demonstrators do like really elaborate things and I love it. But me personally, and that's why I'm doing it this way tonight, I like to keep it on the simpler side. But a triangle is a triangle. We don't need to know what kind or what degree it is. We have more important things to do like scrapbook and make cards. I know. Who has time to remember this stuff? Gee willikers. I certainly don't. Like I told you, my brain determined a long time ago there's no room for it. Like it had to go. We had to make room for more important things. It's like, I don't know about you, but I can tell you all the names of the Stampin' Up! Colors. But like I go to the grocery store and I'm like, what did I come here for again? It's like so bad. I guess your brain just kind of realizes this is important information and this isn't. I bought this set, as did our principal, to help when we teach triangle properties. Oh, fun, Beth. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Maybe I should use it for my daughter when she's learning geometry. You know, thank you. That was very inspiring. I'll have to break it out and she can teach me all the all the things I have no clue about when it comes to triangles. Okay, this one, oops, nope, this way. This one's going this way. So I always like to kind of map out, when it's a card like this, I do sort of map out before I start gluing down where everything's going. And I've said it in the past, you know, I usually set it up and then I'll take a picture of the, you know, before I start gluing down with my phone. And then I'll take everything off and then I just go off of my phone. I know where I want everything. So, but you know, I like to play with it first before I start gluing down to make sure I get everything. Gosh, this one I played with so much. I mean, at first I had everything on the left side going down and then I had more in the middle and then I kind of landed with sort of a cascade of triangles. I kind of like that there. As I say, don't switch things. Now we'll put it back. Wait a few years, Jamie, it gets worse. Oh, Roz, don't say that. Oh, gosh, don't say that. I seriously say to my husband, I think there's something wrong with me because I don't remember things. Like, I legitimately don't remember things. My brain is so bad. And I rely on my 14-year-old. I'll be like, honey, you need to remind mommy that, you know, and whatever, I have to do this. Because if I don't, or I don't write a note or put something on my phone, forget about it. Thanks, Karen. So I'm going to just, same sentiment, same color, right in that triangle. I think stamping on an angle, which I've been doing like a couple of times lately, I really think it's fun, is add sort of to the artistic flair of the card. So that's done. So you can see, like, depending on where you cut out your triangles, you kind of get a different coloring. This one's a little darker, which is kind of fun. Probably no two cards will, you know, 100% be the same, which is fun. Okay, let's do the blue one and then I'll do the other purple one last. This one is the one I kind of Googled, artistic, did I put artistic triangles or art triangles? Something like that I did. And gosh, there were so many and some of them were quite elaborate, but there was a bunch of like really simple ones and I thought, oh, this is kind of fun. So I thought I'd try it. And I could have, honestly, I could have kept going, but I was like, okay, step away from the triangles. Hold on, I got to clean my thing here. And I just realized my chamois is not really wet. Oh, well, okay. So this I'm using Night of Navy, Seaside Spray, and then gold. You love the cascading colors and triangles. Oh, good, 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 good. So when you're doing this triangle, you can do it like in one fall swoop. And these triangles are the normal size triangles. So bad. But they are the third largest triangle and then the fourth largest triangle to cut it out. So when I'm putting it through my die cutting machine, I literally set one like that and then set one like this and then run it through. Let me tell you though, having the magnetic plate, which hint, hint, wink, wink, just came out like last week, my goodness, is like, you need it for this, or do it in 2 steps if you don't have the magnetic plate. But you can potentially run them through and you'll get this guy, which is like really fun. I'm going to have to Google that and try some of these. Yeah, absolutely. For sure. There was really fun things. I mean, just the way triangles, okay, this is like, does sound kind of like the triangles have gone to my head, but the way the triangles like fit together and the different angles, you can do so much with it, which is kind of what attracted me to them. So top one, Night of Navy. Then we have, what did I say? Seaside Spray. And I'm just literally putting one underneath the next. I mean, goodness, this is like taking what, all of 2 seconds. The longest thing will be to run the triangles through the die cutting machine, which by the way, you're going to want to grab right now in the month of September. You order the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine through my store. Anytime in November, you have until September 30th at midnight. And I'm giving away free embossing machine. Oh gosh, not embossing machines, embossing folders. So pick which one you'd like. After you buy your machine, email me and I'll order it up for you. Any embossing machine of your choice. Now during the month of September. Again, that's only through my store. It's a promotion I'm running. So, you know, if you want it, you got to order through me. The new embossing and cut machine. And you're going to want it. It's fun. Okay, this one I'm stamping in Night of Navy. In the same, I'm like just following the angle of the triangle. Ta-da! These triangles also caught my eye. Can't go wrong with shape dies. Yeah, I love, well, talking about shape dies, not the triangles, excuse me. The rectangles. I was making 2 cards earlier today. And I'm like, I think I literally use the rectangles dies maybe 3 out of 5 of my cards every week. I just love them. I love that it's a simple, you know, it cuts out a triangle, but adds a little to it, right? Okay, so last but not least, we have this guy. This I don't know, it's a little different, but I wanted to try this whatever thing is called. And I realized after I cut it that it interlocks. Now I stopped with just doing one, but I could have put my die like this and run it through again, and it would have continued the pattern, which I think is super clever. So let's see here. Will it work down here? Yeah, like that. Okay. So it'll continue the pattern. Like this is just one, but you could keep going. If you wanted like a whole background, that would be super fun, super cool. I just can't catch on to the triangles. That's okay, Heather. You sit back and you can watch me create with the triangles, and then when you're done, you can go to your rectangles. To me, the rectangles are an absolute must. To me, gosh, if you don't have the rectangles, you need them. I use them all the time. I just love them so much. Okay, so Rich Razzleberry. In my sample here, I use the Subtles embossing folder just to give it a little bit of texture. Tonight, just to switch it up a little bit, I use the Tasteful Textile embossing folder just to try something, you know, give a little bit of a contrast. I'm going to use my liquid glue because I have it out, but normally I would use our Stampin' Seal Plus. It's okay, this will work. Like so. I added a little bit of texture, this one, just because it's even more simpler, I think, than the other ones. We're going to do a little heat embossing. So let me just get everything set up here. White embossing powder, your heat tool, and Versamark. So I am going to, what is it? Oh goodness, my drawers. There it is. So it's retired, but if you have an old, you know, embossing buddy, I still use mine just to help when you're embossing. So, oh, thank you. I usually tend to go on the simple, you know, simple side of stamping. Just what I prefer. So, heat embossing, we're stamping in Versamark ink because it stays wet longer. Doesn't dry like immediately. Buying you time to sprinkle it with embossing powder. Try and like take off any excess that you have there. Cover your embossing powder. You turn that heat tool on and it's going to go flying. I speak from experience. And then heat it until it goes from a powder to a nice shine. Once it's shiny, you're good to go. And it doesn't take long. I think we're good. Okay. So next I'm going to take my die and I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine here. You've seen, yeah, me too, Lisa. That's why I said it wasn't originally on my list, I have to admit. But I just kept seeing what everyone was doing and I was so intrigued by it that I had to get it. Had to. It wasn't even a question. I had to. It was a must. By the way, I cut this out using the stitched shapes dies. It's 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. And then I'm going to mat it on a piece of Whisper White cardstock, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I'm going to use dimensionals again because it'll give like this like shadow effect, I guess is how I want to say that. You may need mini ones because I want to get into these corners so it doesn't kind of cave in. Oh, I'd love one over here. Can I get one over there? I can. Okay. You love embossing. Me too, Linda. It never gets old. I remember when I was at a party, a Stampin' Up! Party, and the demonstrator at the time did embossing, and I was like, whoa, I'd never done it before, and instantly was like, okay, I need to get on this because it's just so cool. So much you can do with it. So fun. Okay, last one. Now, when you are matting using dimensionals, it is a little tricky. because you kind of have to eyeball it from above, but it can be done. And then I just adhered that on my card. Oh my goodness, I have dimensional stickers everywhere. Make sure you put it on straight and not what I was about to do. And there you have it. Okay, so triangles, they're different. They're a little on the abstract side, but so many possibilities. Like you can just do so much with them. I really think that the sky's the limit. And you can have fun. Like it's not something that you take too serious. You can do really quick cards, whip out, mass produce, and just have fun. So there's 4 cards tonight in about a half an hour. Of course, I had things already die cut, but really easy to really make lots of cards using these like fun triangles. So make sure you swing on over to my store, pick up your die cutting machine, have fun picking out what free embossing folder you would like. And that promotion is running until the end of the month. So don't miss out on that. And if you've been watching and have yet to leave a comment, quickly do so. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to throw all the names into a hat, and someone, actually, I think I'm going to send out all 4 of these cards. So I'll, whatever name I pick, you'll get 1 of each, because that's a lot of cards. Share the wealth. Thank you everyone so much for joining me tonight. It's always fun. It's always a pleasure. And I will see you next week. Goodbye, everyone.